Are working on our digital compositions, focusing on layers and synthesizing different work that we've already done in this class, all right? This is the portion of the project where you're taking work that you've done either as projects in this class or perhaps as homework or as in-class activities of all types. You know what I mean? You've taken photos of all these. At least you should have. You should have digital versions of this. Otherwise, you can make that happen very quickly. So boom, you want to open a few of those that you like into Photoshop, and we're going to take parts of it, put it together into something new. All right, and through this, I'm going to show you a few key tools. I encourage you also to look up tutorials on your own as you need it. There's no way to learn this but to do it, but this is how I would do it if faced with this project. So I have my projects already open. I'm going to create a new document. You could title it here if you want. Most important though is getting the size correct. Let's go inches, and you can do vertical if you want. I'm going to do horizontal, just 8 by 10 digital, but 300 DPI, pixels per inch, DPI, exactly. You want it to be big, you could always scale it down. Web is 72 usually, but that's too small for us. We want it something that we could print or make large. So here it is. Palettes that you want to make sure you have open, your tools. We'll see some of those in a minute. It's nice to have the history open. That's the nice thing about Photoshop. You can always go backwards in time if you make a mistake. So that's nice. Most important is the layers. And this is a big part of the assignment. This is a big part of just doing Photoshop well. You want to keep everything very separate. Before I do anything though, I'm going to save. And lots of shortcuts in this. For now, I'm just going to say project demo 6. All right, so we're saved. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to pull up some random things. Looking at those circles I had you do, let me just pull up a couple of things. Over here, this is the move tool. This is a common tool you want to touch. Right now, I'm going to pull up the polygonal lasso tool, aka lasso tool. All right, I'm on a laptop. If I was on an iPad, I would be using a pen, picking up things very quickly. Because I'm on a laptop, I'm going to use this version of it. I like it. It gets nice crisp angles. I'm just going to basically select this yellow section. I'm going to, you know what, I'll select more than that. I'll select orange to the yellow. Not super exact, trying to go fast for y'all. Boom, a little double click, good enough. I'm going to copy it. All right, and I do the shortcuts, but it's just shortcut C. Copying that, and where'd I go? Here I am. All right, I'm going to paste it. That is on its own layer. Always good to label it because there'll be a lot of layers. I love labeling my layers. Very important. I'll put that there for now, saving it. Just say yes. What else we have? What else can I pull in here? All right. Different ways to like take imagery from other artwork into Photoshop and cleaning it up in the process. We're not going to do anything unique to any of our originals here. We're just picking it up, getting the information that we need as cleanly as we can to put it into our new artwork, right? So cool. I want some lines. Let's check this out. I'm going to hit this crop tool, and this is useful just to like break down to what we need. We don't need all these edges. You know, it's just going to be more that we need to select to get rid of later. It's just going to get in the way. And you could go really in, and why not? Who cares? We're going to lose a little bit here. There's ways to be more careful. But for this purpose, we're keeping it loose. All right, so got rid of some stuff we don't need. One way that, there's lots of ways that you could pick up this drawing without the background. If I just copied and pasted this, we would have all the background and the lines. You don't really want that because you want to have things layered and over top each other, transparent parts. You want, you know, trust me, you want this to be very clean. How do we do that? There's a couple different ways. First thing I'm going to do, and this is just me, you do what you want to do, but I'm going to basically adjust the levels by shortcut L. And all this is doing is playing with the light and dark of the highs and the lows and the mid-range. And why is this useful? Well, it's just going to kind of, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. but it's getting rid of, some of the values I don't need of the paper. I just want the dark bits and I want the white to be kind of washed out. I don't mind the texture on this, so I'm going to keep that. Now you could try to select the dark in a lot of different ways. My shortcut all these years has just been, in this situation, I'm going to select the white because there's so much of it. And this is with the Magic Wand tool, which is another fave of mine. After I selected part of it, I'm going to go select similar. Get the rest of the white or white adjacent pixels that are out there. Then I'm going to say inverse that. I'm basically going to flip it. I did have all the white selected. Now I have the opposite selected. I'm going to copy it, pull it into here, paste it, and we got all of this. And once we have this, we can cut this up quite easily. The way that we cut this up, and I'll show you right now, I'll say full lines. And I'm just a fan of like duplicating layers just because, as long as you don't go too crazy with too many layers, it's a good idea. You can always blind any layer so you can just focus on one thing at a time, right? Maybe we don't need this right now. This is our little backup. Let's just look at this one. Maybe I don't want all of this, or maybe I want to break this into two pieces. I'm taking my lasso tool once again. And again, if you were on an iPad, I would recommend using the pencil. And just be very quickly. I'm just going to click clack through. And let's see, I'm going to show you the layer mask. This is another very important tool in Photoshop. I've selected a region, right? This area that I've selected. I'm going to go to layer mask. I'm going to hide the selection. I don't want to delete the selection, I just want to hide it. All right. So you see over here, maybe you can. This is the shape that I just kind of whited out, so to speak. We could always get that back if we had to. For now, we don't need to see it. And additionally, if you didn't want to do that, you could also just copy this, all right, and delete it, from that layer. When you paste it, you get it on a nice crisp layer, right? So that's like the lower left of that drawing. Call it something cool. So now we have it in different parts. You see what's going on. We can start really clipping different bits, changing the colors of different areas. You might be saying, how do I change the colors of the different areas? All right, one more thing here. And I'm just going clacking fast. And same thing, but let me do the layer mask again, because the layer masks have a lot of potential, and they're very useful. So I'm going to say, I'm going to hide the selection. I'm going to copy it, then I'm going to say I'm going to hide the selection. That way we have it all. And I can still paste it. Got my W's. All right. Now, okay, I don't want it to be gray. I want to give it a solid color. And I went fast. Layer, new fill layer. You can put gradients, you can put patterns. There's a lot you can do with this. I feel like I most often use solid color. All right, you always want to connect it to the previous, clip it to that previous layer, unless you really want everything to be saturated with that color. And here we are. We can select all sorts of colors. There's lots of ways we can go about it. Color libraries and swatches of all types. Right now for me it doesn't matter too much. I'm just trying to show you. So I'm going to pick that, and here it is. Sometimes when you have these loose kind of layers clipped to one another, moving them around can be tricky. I often recommend either, if you're satisfied with that color and there's no harm in it, you just merge it together. All right, and you can do that by merge down. That'll collapse one layer into the layer beneath it. Shortcut E. Another way to deal with it is put it into a folder, which you're going to want to do. Call that W, don't know why. And let's say I want to change it again. Purple's cool, but I like the idea of another option. Whatever, so here we are. So we got this thing we can move around freely. On it goes. We got these other shapes. Yeah, so we got a few things happening here. And you can continue to organize these as you go. What else? What else can we bring in here? We got this scene. Let's see. We got more color circles. This guy. Don't love it, but maybe I can use part of it. What's another way to grab content from here? Again, lasso tool is a good place to start. You know, if you had a whole section you wanted to deal with, you can just use this marquee tool. It's great. Or if you had a circular area that you want to deal with, all right. And if you're ever like have something selected, you want to get rid of it, the quickest way to get rid of it is shortcut D. That will deselect. And if you want to undo something, shortcut Z. That is undo. You'll learn that pretty quickly. Boom. Right now, maybe I just want to get part of this, but maybe I want all the black. Let's just pull up all the black in one shot. Let's see, we got the magic wand tool, selected it, not perfect. You can hold shift to pick up more of it. Yeah, let's just pick up all of it. There's a faster way, but this is the most direct and intro level. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that. Do we need all that? I don't know. And again, I forget if I mentioned this, transform tool is going to be an instinct to hit that all the time. That's shortcut T. All right, and where is that? Transform. Under edit, free transform, that's a basic vibe here. With most versions of Photoshop, it'll keep it scaled. Excuse me. You know, if you hit shift, you can kind of manipulate and do kind of weird things. There's also the option, if you kind of like right click that little bit or control click, you know, you can distort. You can do some kind of fun things like that. So here we go. This is, you know, where there's like a lot of opportunity to mess with a otherwise kind of boring drawing and make it pretty interesting. All right, for now, I'll just adjust the size. I don't know. It's not like I need a lot of this face. Maybe I need to split this up. So one more time, if I wanted to cut this in half, using that lasso tool, I'm going to copy, I'm going to delete, I'm going to paste. Or you can layer mask it. All right. I don't really need that. I'm going to blind that. Getting back to this one, selected, move tool. I don't know how much of this I need. I don't know how much of a star I need this face to be. I'll put it here. I don't know. That doesn't bother me too much. I can finish that chin. If I wanted to just like draw out this shape, of course there's pen tool. You know, there's whatever you want to do there. You select your colors over here. Just because I'm going fast. Like I said, I do like the lasso tool just for like a quick solution. As a paint bucket, there's also gradients. Let me show you the gradients. So if you want to, once you have a few things in, start messing with the tools alone. Open up a layer and let's mess with some gradients. The gradient tool is very nice. A lot of different types up here. I usually use one of these two. The first will be the two colors on the palette. The second will be the first color on your palette with a transparent background. That's probably my favorite because you can layer that real nice. You have a nice regular gradient. And let me show you all this out. Normal gradient, right? Got spiral gradient. You got other stuff. Right? It's useful. Again, I find myself using these two, but there's a lot you can work with, right? So getting back into it, pick the color, and bring the art back. Here we go. Maybe I want to already make some adjustments. This is where keep everything clean and organized. This is our gradient level here. Let's see, and maybe you don't want the gradient going everywhere. What if I just want the gradient going off of this person's face here? That's easy. That's not that hard. I want to just select that area, select the gradient, do the straightforward, see how that looks. Deselect, look at it. Right, it's okay. Maybe I want to do it again. You can just erase it before you go too far. It's still selected. Maybe that's a little better. Maybe I like that more, at least for now. And we can always delete that later. But it's there for now. We did that. Cool. On it goes. What else can I add here? I got Naxos. I want to work this in here. Why not? You can use things that aren't just super clean lines. I'm going to copy all of this with the marquee tool, right? Bring it back. Here I'm going to try to play with opacity here, right? So I copied it, scaling it down with the transform tool, shortcut T. It's going to be about somebody thinking about Naxos, I guess. I don't know. Putting this down, maybe Naxos will be over here. I don't know. I'll put it over here for now. I'm going to kind of duplicate this, duplicate that layer, hide the one, get it out of the way, just in case I need it, just be an extra, saving my work. I want to make this kind of overlap a little bit. Again, better ways to do this. I'm just going to pick a light spot on here, select it. You can adjust the tolerance of your magic wand tool without getting into too much detail. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to say select similar. Now I'm just going to delete. I'm going to erase that part. All right. Wait, did I do it? One more time. Make sure it happened. I think I might have been on the wrong layer or something. All right, I'm on the right layer. Got what I want selected. Delete. Oh, snap. Okay. Scaling that down. Pulling it up. All right. Maybe I want that to match this black. If I'm doing black and white, let's just go for it. All right. It's rough, but I kind of, I can work with that. And we can also play with the opacity. So now I'm back to this kind of grayscale. I don't know. This could be interesting. This is not the worst. All right. I got a couple things laid down. Let me see what more I can do with this. All right. I'm going to leave you here. Maybe I'll duplicate this layer. I can rotate it. I can do something fun like that. Mosaic type of energy. You know. Keep it yellow. Keep it yellow. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Saving the work. Do we want these full blasts? What about different transparencies here, right? A lot of different things you can play with. Let me just see if I can resolve this quickly with a few more final tweaks. All right. Got our lines open. How can we work in these lines, right? We want to include a few elements of our art for this project. We could spend a lot more time on this for demo purposes. How do we want to work this? Well, let's see. I'm going to duplicate that layer. Sometimes you don't want to undo good work you've already done just to experiment. I'm just going to pull this up. I want a quick and dirty solution here. I'm going to fill this with, again, I'll keep the black for now. Yours should be maybe more colorful than this. You'll spend a little bit more time. Whoops. So yeah, can't delete these things. You can only delete the actual layers. I'm just doing a little trim. What else do I want to do here? All right. I like this. Maybe I need to trim this up. Here's an idea. Maybe I want this shape to go along this. How do I do that? Again, we can do the layer masking without deleting it. And there are faster ways. There are many ways to kind of get rid of what you need to get rid of here. let's say layer mask. You know, if I press something else, I could, but for now I just want to hide it. Not the worst. I'm going to drop that. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to do one more of these. Just like that. All that work you did drawing it, you can just duplicate it. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to throw a different color on it. Let's go, let's go. See what it does. Yeah. Good enough for now. Good enough for now. All right. How else can I clean this up to make it more resolved, right? I feel like I want to get this done and I want to get this shape right. How do we do that? Well, we're finding what should we do? I mean, you could put something on top. You could put, if you want to keep that white, you could just do a white shape right here, or you could trim this background. I guess we'll do a white shape. It's really up to you. This is where that sort of pull and push, you know, from the mid-range, kind of like the how we did the charcoal. I know it sounds unrelated, but it is a little bit related. All right. Where am I putting this? I'm putting this new layer, making sure the face, this guy, is on top of it. And if we're doing white, I got my white selected. I got my paint bucket tool. Boom. So that shape is resolved. Maybe I want to put a couple little bits of things, right? If I zoom in, I don't know, maybe I want to just draw a little something. I'm on a laptop, so I'm being a little sloppy, not very clean. But we in here, all right? You can do whatever you want. Fast way, quick and dirty is how I do when I design murals, because it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, at least not initially. Real quick. And I might put a couple more slices in here. I don't know why. It just feels right. With the lasso tool, you'll get that warning. Just hit undo once or twice. You'll probably get your shape back. That used to be a very frustrating part about that tool. They've definitely fixed it. All right, one more. Double click to speed it up. Boom. What else can we do? Last thing. And by the way, I would always organize this. I have not organized this. I do have it mostly labeled, right? You should have that better organized in folders so you can move things all together. But let's wrap this up. I want to just throw a couple of fades. Final fades would kind of resolve this space for me. Didn't like that. I don't know. All right, I'm going to do a fade. Gradient tool. Color pick. I mean, I can pick from here, but I'd rather pick from the palette. I need that one. Exactly. How does that look? Not great. Let me pick a better color. And these can erase. Those can redo. I also don't think my shape is that good. One more time. So that's really all it's got to be. The order of operations will make a difference. I guess I'll do that. What else? Last thing I'm going to do, I don't know. I just feel like trying this. I'm going to copy part of what I've already got up here with the lasso. I'm on this level here, this layer. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it. Another layer is created. I'm just going to just try to like wrap this up. Try to get something done. How might this look? I'm just going to leave that. Maybe I'll do less transparency. Maybe something like that. Which makes me want to do one more thing. Let me do one more fade. Maybe I can fade it this direction, right? Try to get these two spots to blend. I'm going to select this color. I got my gradient. Say yellow gradient. Right. Cool. I don't love it. This could be better, but I'm going to stop here for the purposes of this. So you see I brought in 1, 2, 3, 4 different elements from our artwork, right? I had other things here I could have brought in. I encourage you to do many things, but I brought in 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's do 1 for the road. 1 for the road, y'all. I'm going to hit the levels, trying to make this a little, I don't know, easier to see, crisper, something. Maybe I don't need all of this. Maybe I just want this section. This is another way to go about it. This is a little sloppier way. If I copied it, you can see it's not cleaned up yet. I gotta get rid of all the background. See how it goes just with this. So that's similar. Throw a light on that. All right. So let's see. Maybe it's hard to see. Maybe. Maybe it can be here. Maybe I throw a different color on it. If you don't like that color, when it's like that, it's easy to switch. You can kind of just double click and grab it. I want the green, the orange. And just for good measure, why not? I'm just going to quick and dirty mask this out. If I wanted to use it later, I could. Later mask. High selection, gone. Final touch. Solid color. On these lines. Opportunity to bring in one more color. What do we want? All right, we've got partial transparency, a little bit. Push that back, maybe 70%. Just a touch up. Little eraser tool. Saved it. There's more to be done.